these connections that we can facilitate between startups and federal researchers will, I believe in my heart, that they will help the entire nation come back to trusting the federal government. There's a lot of mistrust in that area. So what we want to do is shine the light on what the government is doing in terms of research.
Welcome to the Transfer Files, inside the world of federal innovation. This is your insider's look at how federal laboratories bring groundbreaking technologies to market. I'm your host, Andrea Nelson. In every episode, we'll bring you insights and expertise from throughout the world of tech transfer. Today, I'm joined by Kathleen Otto-Rosenblum, CEO of BioNTX, which supports the growth of the bioscience and healthcare innovation community in North Texas. BioNTX is also one of the FLC's newest strategic partners. Kathleen has years of experience leading biotechnology and bioscience organizations rooted in regional ecosystems. We talk about what makes tech transfer work in real-world terms, from identifying commercialization-ready technologies to building trusted connections between labs and industry. Kathleen also talks about the challenges and potential she sees in the collaboration between federal labs and industry. Let's jump in. Kathleen Otto-Rosenblum, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you, Andrea. It's really a pleasure to be here and to speak to your audience through the Federal Labs Consortium podcast. Really delighted.
To get started, can you share a bit about your background and what led you to your role now as CEO of BioNTX?
So most of my career has been on the East Coast. And I worked in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and in New York, building ecosystems. And when COVID hit, I came out to Texas to be with my sweetheart. I knew nobody in the business community, but I really loved it out here. And we got stuck living together because of COVID for about 4 months. And we realized that, hey, he's not moving back to New York. So I started to look for a position. And this position was available. And so I've been here for 4 years, and it's just been a pleasure.
And tell me about BioNTX's mission and how does it support bioscience innovation across North Texas?
So BioNTX is the leading advocate for biosciences and healthcare innovation. And that relates to economic development here in Texas. We support the early stage companies through the resources that we provide, the mentorship and commercialization support. One of the things that my colleague, Eric Moore, always talks about is the connective tissue. So as I mentioned, I knew nobody in the business community, but very soon I realized that there is an amazing group of scientists and individuals in our industry that just didn't know each other. So that connective tissue is a big part of what BioNTX does for the industry here.
And those ecosystems are something that comes up a lot in these conversations on our podcast. Were you able to plug into some sort of existing network, or did you have to build a lot of this?
So there was a network here, and one of the things we'll do is we'll send you a map of our territory. Part of the network is really where the science begins. That's academia. So when you look at the continuum, it all begins at the university level, where patients and science interact. And so just focusing on those places, each of those universities in our territory are spinning out companies. So as those companies spin out, they need a community. So we did have a platform, we did have a foundation we've just built. But there are world-class universities here with great sites emerging, and 2 very big cities, Dallas and Fort Worth, where the companies seem to be emerging.
And in that process, what are some of the biggest challenges that face these early stage bioscience and healthcare companies today?
Well, So funding is really the biggest challenge. And I'm sure that you see that around the country, finding the dollars to take a science experiment out through the regulatory process is very challenging. There's a lot of expertise that needs to be brought to the table. Sometimes scientists are very myopic and they don't always see that. So if there's a commercialization goal for that science, then a whole team has to be built around that inventory. So strong partnerships are needed, and getting to real world application, like making sure that the science is going to be delivered to the patient. So when we talk about the continuum, if the research is the beginning, the patient is the end, the point of care, at least in the healthcare world.
Absolutely. And you mentioned partnerships. And in that vein, BioNTX Texas recently signed a memorandum of understanding with the FLC. And so tell me about what excites you most about this partnership.
So there's a number of things. And the first thing is the unparalleled access to the federal lab research on the innovation that can fuel bioscience growth. So this is the century for bio, right? We believe that strengthening that pipeline from federally funded R&D to industry application is one of the things that we look forward to assisting. This is our role, right? We want to take that science and bring it to real world application. So the collaboration opportunities are going to expand the resources that BioNTX Texas can provide our region and our industry. A number of people are serial entrepreneurs, and they are looking for opportunities to take science out into the world. So the potential to deepen our efforts in technology transfer is really related to what you're doing, and we look forward to that. We support commercialization pathways. We have educational programs that help scientists, and partnering with FLC allows us to scale that work and help our member companies engage directly with federal labs, creating new opportunities for innovation to move more efficiently from the lab to marketplace.
Beautiful. And there is an annual event, the IC3. Can you tell me about that?
It had. And when I first got here to Texas, we kind of inherited IC3. And IC3, I thought, that's the IC3. Some people called it I cubed, but it really stands for a pretty substantial formula that we believe in, and that is innovation cubed. So innovation equals capital times collaboration times commercialization. So that event, our annual key event in North Texas, has been around for 10 years. We're beyond the 10-year mark now, and we are growing. It brings all of the industry leaders together. It brings great companies together for presentation opportunities. And it's the nexus of what the community needs. And what we found is it's not just North Texas. It's Oklahoma. It's all of Texas. It's Louisiana. It's Arkansas. It's New York comes. It's a very nice event, and we would hope that we participate with you. We have, we're expecting 1,000 attendees. So when we first started 4 years ago, we were low, like 180, and we've grown to about 1,000. And it's being held in Dallas at a beautiful place called the Untitled this year in September.
In September. Okay, wonderful. We will keep an eye out for that. And can you tell me more about any specifics or examples of how you see federal lab innovations, benefiting early stage bioscience companies, and how BioNTX Texas could leverage this partnership with the FLC to accelerate commercialization?
So your labs are developing cutting edge technologies, right, that are underutilized in the commercial sector. And that's the lens that we want to focus on. Early stage companies can leverage your research to fast track product development. Opportunities for licensing, collaborative R&D and joint ventures, and really scientists getting to know other scientists. That's where the magic is. When they collide, that's where the magic is.
Beautiful. Getting people into the same room, in a sense.
Yes. And I think that these connections that we can facilitate between startups and federal researchers will, I believe in my heart, that they will help the entire nation come back to trusting the federal government. There's a lot of mistrust in that area. So what we want to do is shine the light on what the government is doing in terms of research.
Do you see, if you're able to say, if you've noticed sort of from an anecdotal sense, a lack of awareness or more of a misconception or both?
I would say both, because before Eric brought your company to us, I had never heard of it. And I've been in the industry for many, many years. So I think that it's truly a lack of awareness for sure.
Mm-hmm. It's something that we're constantly trying to figure out how to chip away at. So we appreciate your help in that.
Yeah, no, we're really excited to help you with that.
And in your experience, what are the biggest hurdles for startups trying to commercialize specifically life sciences technologies?
So the biggest hurdles for startups, again, is the funding. I mean, that really is the bottom line. Moving from proof of concept to market ready product. And then the obstacles are learning about how the scientists can do that. So as I mentioned earlier, putting a team together is really the best way to help a scientist, an innovator, founder. Many founders are not really cut out to be fundraisers or to understand the steps that they have to go through to get to commercialization. It's very complex navigating the FDA and the regulatory approval process so that they don't get started early. As you probably already know, the costs can be devastating. And then that science just sits off the shelf. So the early stages is really where the biggest challenges are. And then once they get to having a pro dead and ready, then scaling the operation is really very challenging for them. Here in North Texas, we have a number of small startups. So they're all sort of bubbling to get to the place where they have to scale. That would be, a good story for them.
And then how does BioNTX come in and help those early stage companies navigate those regulatory funding and partnership challenges?
So as a 501c3 trade organization, we're also 501c6. It's our job to provide pathway access to industry experts that can solve the regulatory problems. We also connect the early stage companies with investors, grant opportunities, and funding networks. We facilitate strategic partnerships through the ecosystem events. As a trade organization, we do a lot of events throughout the region to make sure that the community feels that love. And as we talked about earlier, the IC3, that some is proof that people do need to get together. And this fosters that industry connectability. And then we also are working with federal and state legislators to make them aware of the importance of our industry, what our industry needs. These are good paying jobs. Many states like the state of Pennsylvania, the state of New York, state of Maryland, I'm not sure about Delaware, but many of these states are, actively involved in supporting the industry. And so that's a big part of how we help as well.
Are there any standout success stories from BioNTX members that might highlight the impact of strong industry partnerships?
We have so many success stories, but I just want to tell you about one today. And it's really just, again, being that collaborator, right? Making sure that we break down the silo walls. And what happened today was we have an international partnership with Belgium. And the DFW airport happens to be one of two airports in the country that is certified in excellence for biopharmaceutical materials, shipping reagents, all of the things that need temperature control. So a lot of our medicines are distributed through the DFW airport. Well, we have, last year we had a master class on logistics. And because there's so much cell and gene therapy that is happening here, our role is to shine a light on that. And so with this partner in Belgium, the university, and where we are right now, one of our facilities, we had to step in because they couldn't figure out how to transport cells. Now, these are 9 cells, but the importance of this project is testing cell transportation to make sure that medicines are not losing their effectiveness in transport. So it's a very big project. We're very excited about it, but the company is not able to sign the paperwork to bring the cells into, and these are all just benign inert cells, nothing really powerful, but it's just a test. So we were able to step in and bring in the right people to allow that to happen. So that happened just this morning. Wow. And there are other areas where connections that we make bring people and accelerate their businesses.
That's a great example because it's one of those pieces that is even a part of the process that's probably invisible to a lot of the public. So it's not big and splashy, but it's so important.
Amen. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons that we are very fixated on cell and gene therapy is because some of our institutions are putting a stake in the ground for research and biomanufacturing and this precision medicine. So it's the future. We want North Texas to shine as a place that attracts the greatest minds that want to do cell and gene therapy and help these patients. So we have a very big initiative with rare disease, but also we understand that precision medicine is the future.
Well, you just answered my next question, but in case you have anything to add, looking ahead, how do you see the bioscience and healthcare ecosystem evolving in North Texas?
Well, it's becoming a national leader and certainly a Texas leader. We found that out the other day. It's, we have, Texas is a very big state. So North Texas, and I don't have a map, but I'm going to send it to you. North Texas runs from Lubbock to Tyler, Wichita Falls to Waco, and everything in between. And as I mentioned earlier, Fort Worth and Dallas are 2 giant metroplexes that have a lot of company formation. So we are hearing from our colleagues around Texas. They want to know how we're doing it. So we're becoming a national leader in biotech and life sciences, and really just by connecting everyone and supporting them. We are also focused on investments in biotech infrastructure. So we have a mandate to bring all that oil and gas money into our industry. Our oil and gas billionaires, gazillionaires, they trust the scientists to tell them there's gas 50 meters down, but they are afraid to invest in our industry. So that's our mandate, is to really bring the local dollars out of the woodwork into our industry. So that's one of the things that's evolving. And we think that with the new Texas stock exchange and this work that we're doing with all of our stakeholders, in a few years, North Texas will be more of a mecca for biotech investment. We have a number of facilities going up around the region. Every little city wants to see the white coats walking around. So everyone is investing in labs that are, highly specialized. So that's already happening. We have a great talent network. We have a great alliance of biotech and healthcare industry leaders, and we are focused on AI. So AI, our other summit, AI is going to be, the thread through the entire summit and how AI can be used in our industry. So one of the things that we're really very fortunate to share with the rest of the nation and the world is the collaborative environment that we have here. People work together. So it is an ideal place for early stage companies to thrive.
Great. And you make a great point about the size of just this portion of Texas is probably bigger than a good number of entire states. So that must present its own unique advantages and challenges, I'm sure.
Yes, but people in Texas love to drive. So what can I say? I mean, it's really each of these cities that has a medical institution and a research center and a health science center, they have these companies spinning out. And so, supporting them was really important. Texas is a state for innovation and it always has been. And in North Texas, very interestingly, and, I don't want to get too far down into the weeds, but there's a foundation called the Southwest Medical Foundation that was founded in 100 years ago, literally. If you remember your history, in the 1920s, right, people still went to Europe for their medical care because America wasn't really a healthcare mecca. Yeah. America still had people that were, malnutrition and all of them very sick. So World War I, World War II really brought that into focus for the government. This doctor here in North Texas created this foundation and began to really educate people and create science, first. And so we're very fortunate to kind of hang on to his coattails and continue that innovative spirit in North Texas.
Amazing.
So more to come. More to come about what's happening here.
I can't wait to hear more. We're going to have you back for an update, I'm sure. What advice would you give to entrepreneurs trying to bring new biotech innovations to market?
Building the network of people who are experts in what they do, partners and funding sources. It's never too early to start your process of understanding. You can join an organization like North Texas so that you get connected to the community. Start your regulatory planning early to avoid roadblocks and the cost problems later. And then engage with organizations like North Texas to access the resources and the mentorship, et cetera, that we provide.
Finally, if people want to learn more about North Texas and get involved, what's the best way to connect with you?
Well, thank you very much. We have a website, which is biontx.org. So biontx.org for resources, member opportunities, and upcoming events. Attend the IC3 Summit, which is in September. It's September 16th and 17th, and it's in Dallas. It's a premier event showcasing the latest in AI and biotech and healthcare innovation. And then people can follow us on LinkedIn or social media for updates and industry opportunities, et cetera. And we really look forward to working with your organization and supporting your scientists and helping them understand the world of entrepreneurship and getting their science off the bench into the community.
Perfect. I think I don't want to speak for the scientists, but I imagine that they are just as excited to connect with the entrepreneurs and others in your network. So thank you again, Kathleen Otto-Rosenblum, for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Federal Laboratory Consortium. It's a pleasure.
And thanks to you, our listeners, for tuning into this conversation and spreading the word about this podcast. Subscribe and listen to more episodes on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. Check the show notes or the episode page at federallabs.org for links to resources and information that came up in our conversation. Thanks to our producer and digital marketing manager, Carly Dunow, graphics manager, Danny Batchelor, web content and systems manager, Jess Klein, and the entire FLC staff and community for your support. We'll see you back in 2 weeks on Transfer Files Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in to the Transfer Files, your insider's look at federal tech transfer. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay connected for more episodes exploring how hundreds of government laboratories and countless industry partners are driving innovations that shape our lives.